What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode. And on this episode we're going to start to get into the meat of, well, start getting into the rust repairs, because we got a bit of rust and we need to remove it. So easiest option for me to learn how to remove, well, deal with damaged panels or rusted panels or whatever, is starting off with this piece. Now this is yeah, it's not exactly what you want, but you know, luckily it's just a panel like here, and to remove it we have some obviously before I just to test out, you know, because I've never done this before, just to test out, I removed this bracket. This bracket sits here, and I just, you know, just to test out the drill bit and to make sure I know exactly what I'm doing, I removed it just as a test, to make sure that I know what I'm doing. And I have an idea of what I'm doing, but you know, we learn along the way. So, first order of business to remove it. This panel is, we need to expose all of the spot welds. And to do that, we need a wire brush, and just start going over all the edges and just wire brush off all the paint so we can expose all the spot welds. Now that we have gone through and wire brushed the whole metal piece, we have exposed all the little spot welds that we need to drill through. And before we start drilling them, first take a center punch, and to everyone, try get it in the center and just center punch each little spot weld. As you can see here, there's a little spot weld here, little one there. These ones are gone. There's two here, they're big ones. And yeah, this is sort of like they've done like the outer edge. So now that you've center punched all your spot welds, I'm going to go through and with a tiny drill bit, just slowly, what do you call it? Just give it a little, you know, edge for the seating part of the spot weld drill bit to seat in there and stay centered the whole time. So let's go, and every center punch that we've done, go through with the drill bit. Come to realize that this is like a bead laid on here, so I'm just gonna cut it basically. So I'm gonna get the Dremel and a cutting wheel and just cut around it. So I've gone and just cut that there. So now we can start laying in our spot weld drill bits. And so we got a couple different sizes spot welds on here. So we got, I think that's like a 6mm and like maybe around a 10mm. So I just got a 10mm one, which is got this thing on it, and an 8mm one, which is looks like a normal sort of drill bit, but it's actually flat, and it has that little thing in the top here, which is where we pre-drilled those little dents, so that'll sit in it and just drill the metal around it. one hasn't gone to plan. Started drilling out this one and it wandered and then clogged up a tip on this, so the pin got stuck, and then I tried to take it apart to repair it, and the thing that holds the spring in that keeps the pin out has gone missing. So I'm gonna try and just use and get away with the 8mm drill bit for these, which sucks, but hopefully we can get away with it. So because of my drill bit dilemma, it's not exactly being easy with coming off, but it's slowly coming off. But yeah, just stick with me. This is not exactly how I planned it to be. So if you do this, make sure you have a lot of spot weld drill bits. I ordered a set literally over a week ago and they haven't come in, so I had to go and buy just normal ones because there's no kits for some reason. And yeah, so, and normal drill bits, they might get it done, but they also drill through to the other side, so they'll leave a big spot on the other side or end up drilling through it. And oh so yeah, I'm using a method of normal style drill bit and just hit the fuck out of it. I mean, we can always bring it back in case we fuck it up too much. Like, it's just a patch panel, so we should be right. But yeah, just stick with me and we'll get this off. A lot of rust. So we have the panel off. Tried to save as much as I can, so hopefully we can flatten this out, clean it up, and hopefully trace off of it. If not, then it's okay. We can use some cardboard aided design and make a little panel. If any, actually, I might just use some cardboard and make a little CAD design. But first, I'm gonna clean this up and get it prepped so we can have it ready, because I want to paint in here just to stop any rust. So I've cut this little piece here. I'm just going to weld it together just so it has some rigidity, and this piece that it was connected to was pretty fucked anyway, so yeah, this hole I might just leave it and clean up and spot weld. Well, I'll weld it from behind when I eventually put the new piece on. But yeah, I'm just gonna go over all of this again with I think it's a 3M Scotch Brite pad with a roll lock on, so it's easy twist on and off thing. And just gonna clean up the rest of it so we can have a nice clean surface. So, we're going to weld up this piece here and just go over this a little bit just so it's sort of lost, the rust has lost its weld. I've cleaned it up and yeah, we're using a TIG welder. You may not know, but if you follow my Instagram at Jimmy's Works, you'll see that I've been learning to TIG weld. It's just a little Unimig Razor 200 AC/DC. Yeah, that's it. So we've got the TIG welder set up. It's a really nice unit. It's a touch button, so there's no foot pedal. I'm using a 1.6mm, can't remember which tungsten, but it's the white one. And obviously mild steel filler rod, because we're welding on mild steel. I've cleaned it up, acetoned it, and ready to go. So we're able to get this bead done, but just the metal's too thin and rusted on like the inside that you can't see, and it's just melting through it, even at like 30 amps. So I mean, I think once we get the whole panel on, it's going to be strong enough. It's just, you know, I thought, you know, it might work, but you try things and they either work or they don't. So that's one thing that didn't work. So yeah, so we're just going to go over it again, make sure everything is really smooth, clean. So when we do our spot welds on it, it's going to be clean. So we have this panel out and we've cleaned it down, and what I've done is laid primer all the way on the inside so we can have nice protection in there. Well, actually what I also did before that was wire wheel out any rust and cleaned it up so we won't have any more rust, hopefully. And so a couple coats of primer in there so it's all ready. And don't worry, because I'm not stupid, but once this is all dry, I'm gonna have to go over and once we make the plate, or the new piece that's gonna go over that, once I drill out the holes for the piece, I'm gonna line it up on here and mark where all the holes are gonna, where all the spot welds are gonna be, and I'm going to obviously make those like mint clean so I can lay some good spot welds on it. So we start a new day, and last night I made a little a template so we can you know, we can do modifications to the cardboard and obviously, you know, get it schmicky mouse so we can then put it onto some metal and make it. Yes, had enchiladas the other night, well fat. So now all we have to do is trace this onto our metal and cut it out. The perfect metal I found for the same thickness as the sheet metal on the car is this. It's literally the lid of like a 205 litre drum that I found at work. It's the same thickness, well, slightly. The metal on the car is like 0.95 mil, and this is like 0.9 mil. Well, yeah, 9 mil. Well, no, 0.9 mil, whatever. It's the same, so yeah. So replacing it with the same, so let's cut it. We now have our sheet cut out and all the paint removed off it because it is a scrap piece. Now I just need to go over and start drilling where I'm gonna have my spot welds, and then obviously bend this piece after I've drilled the spot welds, because it's just gonna be easier to drill all the holes for the spot welds than bend this up. So I actually haven't drilled all the spot weld holes yet. I just sort of did these ones so I can bend it and give it a test out. Ended up, well, with the piece last night, I ended up looking at the other side and I was like, oh, it doesn't come all the way up here, it just sort of goes along there and has a gap up here. So I sort of replicated that. It fits nicely down there, fits in there. I might have to adjust it here, but that's okay. I actually won't need to modify it because once I got it in the spot that I wanted, it lines up, so we're good. So we can continue drilling all the holes for the spot welds and then continue on. I've also just sort of marked this area where spot welds will not be because that's where the hole is. So now that we've drilled out our holes for our spot welds, we just need to line it up on the panel and mark where all our spot welds are. So we need to mark where all our spot welds are so we can grind away the paint so we can have a nice surface to weld on. The paint is just so there's like some protection there on the bare metal from rust, but you know, can't weld on rust with a can't weld on paint, so need to grind it away so we can have a nice spot to weld. So we start marking. So we now have it all tacked in. I'm gonna say they're not the prettiest welds, and I had a little bit of trouble up here. Sucked and slightly ran out of gas and may have burned through it a little bit. But, and because I ran out of gas, I can't finish off, you know, putting that little bracket back on here. So, that's okay. I'm gonna put that bracket on another time. I'm not gonna seam seal around here, just so I don't have to, take it all off to get this on. So that'll probably be next weekend or something, or during the week. But yeah, we can start just clean it up a bit more and then prime. Oh, actually, no. One thing before we even do that, while it's cooling down, I need to put the chuck a Rivna in here. And then we can clean it up, paint it, chuck a bit of seam sealer on it and paint it again. Obviously leaving this part out for now. So now that we've given this piece a coat of paint all over, we are now going to fill all the seams, and my mistake there, and don't use this for fixing mistakes because this is just a seam sealer. So you're supposed to fit, see that gap there? Fill that gap with this stuff and then sort of brush it like the OEM does. And this is just a cut down paintbrush. So you run a bead over and then you just wash it over. So we've laid down a bead all over and brushed it all over. We've obviously left this part clear so we can, you know, rub it back and put that plate back on, which we'll do when we get some more gas. But for now, we'll just leave it like this. We're gonna let it dry and then do one overcoat of some primer, and then that will be done. Oh yeah. And that is done. Well, done for now. Still got to obviously put that little bracket on here, but I'll finish that off when I get some more argon for the welder. But yeah, that's done. That's my first ever rust repair ever. Well, proper rust repair with cutting it out and making the panel, putting it in. And I'm pretty proud of myself, you know. That's something I've never done before, always wanted to do, and I've done it, you know. I mean, it may not look the best quality, but you know, it's a repair and it's been done sort of properly. Well, 90% properly, but you know, no more rust hole. That's amazing. That's, you know, it's done. And then now on to the bigger one. This is gonna be much harder, but you know, do a nice easy step before and practice on that before taking the big step. So thanks for watching, thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next episode where we go into more rust repairs, and we'll take my skills hopefully to the max and see what I can do. But yeah, see you on the next one.